So getting the opportunity right now to process some anger and frustration because all I want to do is be dialed into this call and stuff keeps coming up at work. I totally hear you. This is, yeah, you're experiencing it in real time. But so I would, and you know what? I'm gonna use this example in our in my next tool, the STEAR map, and then we can also open up the floor for conversation. So okay, I know I said we were gonna take a little break. Do you guys need a break? Do you want to keep going? I would love to teach you about the STEAR map, which is a way to coach yourself, but I'm on, okay, Renee says keep going. Because this is like the tool that you can use to coach yourself. And exactly in a situation like this, I'm angry, frustrated that things keep coming up at work, and all I want to be doing is this call. Okay. So I'm gonna keep it going. Fine to keep going if you need a break. I'm good. Okay, let's keep going. I love it. Let's keep going. This is one thing I love about ADHDers. It's like we're like, go hard to go home. No, I totally respect needing a break. Okay, so I do want to give you a little sales pitch though, because if maybe you're listening to this and you're like, like I want to be on board, I'm on board in theory, but I don't know how well this is going to work in practice. Or if you're listening to the recording and you're like, I don't know. This is the only kind of sales pitch that you're going to get from me. I'm going to sell you on feeling feelings. I'm going to sell you on coaching yourself. So my biggest sales pitch is that all the action that you're taking is fueled by emotion, all the action and inaction, all of it. So I want you to look at your actions and tell me, do you like them? Are they serving you? Are you reaching your goals? Are you meeting your deadlines? Are you doing the things that you want to do? If the answer is no, the place to look is your emotions. Because again, those actions are being propelled, they're being triggered, they're being fueled by emotions. So emotion is again that domino that flips over every single action. So I know that this is hard and I know that it's not fun. It's scary, but it's also the secret. Like this is the secret. If there was like a magic secret to ADHD, this is it. It's not, like it's not like an overnight thing. It's not going to happen instantaneously, but this is the secret that everybody is looking for. So if you don't like your emotions, that just means you're human. Like, welcome to the club. Uncomfortable emotions are uncomfortable to sit with. They're uncomfortable to process. I don't like my emotions either. They're a real pain in the ass. They make me upset and they make me live in reality. But so, okay, I want to break down the tool that I personally use. And there are different versions of this tool, but like you might have heard it where it's like circumstance, thought, reaction. But so anyway, I use STEAR. It's nice. It's easy to remember. It's a really easy acronym. And it's the greatest gift that I can give you as my client is the ability to coach yourself because, as much as like we're going to spend some time together this month, I'm not going to be with you 24/7, right? And so by learning how to coach yourself, you can learn to change your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and your results, sometimes even in a matter of minutes. And so the more often you're willing to coach yourself, the more productive and successful you can be. And I'm not trying to oversimplify it because this is, it takes a lot of work, like to identify the parts of this puzzle. But so before learning this tool, I literally had no idea. Like I thought that other people made me feel things. I thought my actions were unpredictable. I thought that my results were out of control. And I was so wrong, like so very wrong. So now I'm wanting to pass this on to as many people as I can because I know that it's possible because I'm living proof. So here we go. The first part of this is the situation. So the S in STEAR stands for situation. So the situation is always neutral. We attach thoughts to a situation, but the situation is always neutral. So let's look at Amy's, for example. Let me pull it back up. So the situation is Amy's on a call while she's at work. Okay, that's the situation. Amy's on a call while she's at work. I'm gonna actually do that. So I want you to try to remove your thoughts about this, that like, this is frustrating, this is annoying. I want you to just look at the situation for what it is. So Amy is on a call while she's at work. So the thoughts about it is a sentence in your brain. It's your inner voice. It's your subconscious, it's coming from your subconscious. It's very common for ADHDers to not recognize our thoughts. Most of us have an executive function deficiency that actually impedes our ability to have an internal monologue. So that means that we may not be able to hear ourselves think. So we might not even recognize our thoughts until we speak them out loud or write them down. So if you're somebody that like needs to write stuff down in order to process them, like that's why. But so developing the ability to recognize your thoughts is everything, because your thoughts direct your life. So Amy, I think you already told me one of the thoughts that you were having about it. But if there's anything else that you want to add, you can feel free to drop it in the chat. So all I want to do is be dialed into this call, and stuff keeps coming up at work. All I want to do is be dialed into this call. What is a thought that you're having about the situation, Amy? Maybe something along the lines of like, work is getting in the way, or you want to chime in, you can feel free. But while maybe she's thinking or processing. But so an example of a thought can be like, this is so frustrating, or this is too much. Like, this is too much for me. That's also a thought that comes up. Or I don't have time. So this is like, what story am I telling myself? Exactly. Or this is hard. Exactly. Yeah, let's go with like, this is hard. This is hard. Okay. So the next part of the STEAR map is your emotions. So the terms like feelings, emotions, they mean the same thing. So I can use them interchangeably. The emotion is simply a vibration in your body. So it's like a buzzing or a pulsing, or sometimes it's like a heaviness or a squeezing or a tingle, or however you experience it. So what I've noticed is that most of my clients think that they should feel good all the time. And so when they don't feel happy, they think it's a problem. So can you guys relate to that? Like, when you don't feel happy, there's something wrong. Is it your goal to feel good 100% of the time? Yeah, exactly. So we think that we should feel good or happy all the time. And when we don't, we think something's wrong. But the secret is, the reality is, you're not supposed to feel good all the time. So maybe just accept that, like, we're not going to feel happy and content all day, every day, because that shit doesn't work. Like, life is meant to be 50% positive emotion, 50% negative emotion. The contrast is intentional. It's supposed to be there. And you can get really spiritual about this and say, like, we have the range of human emotions, human experiences to help us grow. So how would you know happy if you never felt sad? How would you know carefree if you never felt stressed? How would you know love if you never felt lost? So part of our work is to embrace the contrast, is to allow for the 50-50. So this is a big part of our work. So a negative emotion, this is a big point. A negative emotion is not a problem to be solved. It's an experience to be had. And when you look at it that way, you can much more easily process the emotion, because it's like you're doing it without judgment of the situation. You're saying like, okay, I'm on a call while I'm at work. This is hard. It's hard to do two things at once. I'm feeling distracted. So when you can allow yourself to feel badly, then you will become unstoppable. That's actually, the key in all of this. Okay, so here's how life goes. Something happens, then you have a thought, and then you have an emotion. So the situation itself is not causing you to feel anything. Other people do not cause me to feel anything. Another example of this is like, let's say, like I have $100 in my bank account. That's a situation. The thought can be like, I'm so broke. Like or it can be like, I can't believe I let it get this bad. I'm so bad with money. You can create all these thoughts, all these situations. Whereas like somebody else could have $100 and be like, wow, I have $100. Like you could be like a college student and like you just made $100, babysitting, whatever. Like in that example, it's like, yeah, like you create the thought about this. And we'll get to like the actions that you can take. Like, let's say you do, you have $100 and like you're not happy about it. Well, what actions can you take from it? If you have the thought like, I have $100 and I'm bad with money. Well, the emotion could be shame. The actions that you're taking from that are avoid looking at my bank account. Not educate myself on like how to save money. Continue to overspend because it's like, well, I'm already in the hole, so I may as well, like the same thing can be set with like debt, right? Like if you feel shame about your debt, are you going to take actions in order to try to recover that debt? No. If you're feeling shame about it, you're going to take wildly different actions. You're going to avoid looking at your bank account. You're going to not talk to your partner to come up with a plan. A lot of it is going to be inaction, or you're not going to develop the skills to create better spending habits. So the action is the line after emotion. So let's say situation is Amy is on a call while at work. The thought is this is hard. Maybe the emotion is frustrated. And the action could be that she's not giving her full attention either to work or to this call, which is totally like, that's totally fine. You don't have to give your full attention to this call. Remember, like give it 1%. It's playing in the background, right? And we'll come back to that. But the action could be not giving full attention to work. And work is paying the bills, right? So like being on this call is not paying the bills. It will in the future, right? Because when you can develop these habits, you can be more productive. But let's just stick with the task at hand. So maybe the action is not giving full attention to work. Maybe the action could be ruminating, like feeling bad about what's going on. So the actions are the things that ultimately give you the results. So the reason that we spend so much time talking about emotions is because the actions are taken from that emotion. So that's why you're here, is to allow yourself to become aware of your emotions so that you can change the actions. So if you're avoiding or procrastinating, it's because of an emotion. If you're spinning out and getting nothing done, it's because of an emotion. If you're productive, it's because of an emotion. So emotions are the gas that fuels the actions that we take. So we never take an action without first having an emotion. Let me just check on the chat real quick. Let me see. When you're allowed to feel badly, then you are unstoppable. Yes. Okay. I used to think feeling discomfort was bad, but it's part of stepping out of our comfort zone to grow. Exactly. Because when you don't allow yourself to feel the discomfort, you are looping old neural connections. And you're going to keep repeating that and keep getting the same results. It is a mindset thing. It is. I was just able to peek back and realize you guys are working through my stuff. Oh yeah, can't wait to come back to the recording to figure out what I should be doing right now. Jonathan, good. I'm glad you're triggered in a good way. This is all, it's so much easier to do this in a container with other people. But so, okay. ADHD is a disorder, is not a disorder of not knowing what to do. It's a disorder of knowing but not doing. So how can we get ourselves to do the things that we actually want to do? We're waiting to feel good. But the whole point of this is to learn two very important things. Is one, to learn when you can feel like crap and do it anyway. And also to honor when you need to pull back. We're going to talk about, in our next class is about overwhelm. And I'm going to talk a lot about like capacity and knowing when you've overreached. And that's a big part of this, but I'll save that for next time. And then two is to change how you feel so that you can get yourself to take action. So remember, your emotions are the fuel that drive all actions.